Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. I am Dr. Kritika, Assistant Professor, Department of Microbiology, Mahalakshmi Women Arts and Science College. Today's presentation is Role of Metals in Health and Biological System, presented by Dr. Kumaran, Assistant Professor from DG Vaishnava College, Chennai. Now, I would like to invite Mrs. Sangeeta, Head of the Department of Microbiology, for the welcome speech. Ma'am, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you all for this virtual learning session, Role of Metal in Health and Biological System, conducted by Department of Microbiology of Mahalakshmi Women's College of Arts and Science. I wholeheartedly thank our chairman, Through S. Kunjithapatham sir, and the dynamic managing directors, Through S.K. Thirukumaran and Through S.K. Senthilkumaran sir, for giving us such an opportunity to conduct this session. It's my gratitude to welcome our beloved, lovable principal ma'am, Dr. Mrs. N. Boomer, who always acts as a backbone for us in all academic activities. Her motivation and involvement helps us to achieve our goals. Welcome, ma'am. I also welcome our Vice Principal, Mr. S. Ramasamy sir, for this wonderful session. Now, it's time. I'm highly grateful to welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Kumaran Rajendran, Assistant Professor in the Department of Chemistry from DG Vaishnava College, Chennai. Our chief guest has a teaching experience of about 12 years and research experience of about 16 years. Research area includes phytophysical chemistry, bioorganic chemistry, and electrochemistry. He has about 27 publications and 50 impact factors. Thank you, sir. Thank you for accepting our invitation and present this wonderful informative session for us. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the session.
Before we get into the session, a leader is one who lights the path to the impossible and take all of us to the greatest height. Yes, it would be injustice to proceed this event without calling upon our wings of our flight, pillar of our strength, a constant source of our motivation. Now, I would like to invite our beloved principal ma'am, Dr. N. Boomer, to share few words. Ma'am, over to you, please.
Dear students, faculty members, research scholars, and my dear friends, my sincere prayers to everyone to keep healthy and happy always. Education is not about to gain knowledge alone, but also learning the way to keep others happy, learning the way to face the challenges, and learning the way to live in a society and lot more. Keeping this into consideration, our Department of Microbiology of Mahalakshmi Women's College of Arts and Science, to be specific, Mrs. Sangeeta, Dr. Kritika and Mrs. Aarti had competently organizing webinars, virtual learning and other academic activities during this pandemic situation also. I would like to congratulate them for this excellent effort. I would like to thank Dr. Kumaran, my dear friend and also my well-wisher, for accepting our request to present his views and knowledge on the topic Role of Metals in Human Biological System. He has shared many interesting facts which impressed me in many views. He has impressed me many ways. And one I would like to specify is that more than gold and silver, there are other precious metals also which are used in chemistry lab. Look forward for many interesting facts through him. Thank you so much. I wish everyone a great success.
Good morning to one and all. I am Dr. R. Kumaran, Assistant Professor working in DG Vaishnava College, Department of Chemistry, and I am here to provide an insight on the role of metals and their effect in our body and the metabolic functions. I thank Mahalakshmi Women's College of Art and Science for providing me an opportunity to present an piece of information regarding our metabolic system and the role of metals. In this, I would like to thank the chairman of the college, Thiru S. Kunjitha Badam, Principal Dr. N. Boma, and Head of the Department of Microbiology, Mrs. G. Sangeeta, and Convener Dr. Kritika, Assistant Professor, Department of Microbiology, for providing me an opportunity to share the piece of information. In this context, we'll be learning about the need of metals and role of elements in the proper and smooth functioning of our metabolic system, and how the metals play a major role in sustained growth and prevents us from diseases, and also the role of metals in excess and the diseases caused by these metals. I think this lecture will be an eye-opener for few people who are really not unaware of the role of metals in our body. Enjoy the lecture. Thank you. The topic for the day is role of metals in health and biological system. This is the topic concerned with the role of metals on our health and our immune system, and how metals help in biological process and metabolic activities. When we are concerned about our health, predominantly we speak about all the metals which are involved in our body, which are necessary for functioning of the metabolic activities. Mostly, a metal has a role of an enzyme. It can act as a poison also, and it can be also toxic. It can give a life and can take up a life. The human body almost consists of every element on the earth, and this is a clear indication that our body not only supports the non-metals like carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, it also has several metals in varying proportions which are needed in our body. It can range from microgram to milligram scale. Now, our topic specifically deals about metals and what is the role of metal. Interestingly, the definition of metal has a very different perspective on various fields. A chemist, how does he tells about a metal? A metal is an element that readily forms positive ions. In his view, starting from a chemist or a biologist or a physicist, or to a goldsmith or an electrician or an engineer or any other tradesman of various craft, definitely he would have encountered a word called metal in some of his work. So really, what the role of a metal is known by in all such fields, and how exactly and in what way the metals play a role in our body for sustaining, promoting and regulating growth is an unfold and unsolved mystery still today. It has led to different debates and controversies. Now, as a chemist, basically the word metal is used by every person who deals with chemistry, and he tells mostly about the nature of the formation of bonds and how the metals are arranged or the atoms are arranged, how it forms molecules. In the perspective of a physicist, a metal is considered which can conduct electric current due to its lustrous properties, malleable properties, and also it depends upon the physical parameters. A biochemist in his part conveys the role of metal as a part of enzymes and cofactors which are useful for metabolic activities. As a medical professionals, metals are involved in not only in diagnosis and treatment of disease and disorders. Most of the metals are a key and instrumental in most of the equipments, medical and surgical equipments, which are a part of their profession. Further, astronomers, they have described metal in a very classical and interesting way, because hydrogen and helium are the two elements which almost contribute to 98% of the matter in the sun, and they consider the other elements other than hydrogen and helium as non-essential, that is only 2% they consisting. However, The role of metals, even though the quantity is very, very less, it plays a major role. Further, in industry, commerce, economics, and marketing, metal is considered to be an ideal commodity for money and also for our life. Geologists convey the importance of metals and also the historians, and of course the fortune tellers. Now, before we deal into metals, we have a small glimpse of the periodic table, and in the periodic table almost 95 elements are metals. We can classify the periodic table into S block, P block, D block, and F block. We say the S block as alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. The D block are the transition elements which are completely made up of metals, and the P block are metals, metalloids, and non-metals, and the lanthanide elements are completely metals. So almost 80% of the elements in the periodic table comprises of metals, and these metals are further classified based on the human health, biomedical functions, medicinal purposes, and the toxicity caused by the metals to our organs, and how they are essential for the metabolic role. Fine. How the metal enters into the body? Metal is not taken in a pure or metallic form. It enters our body through food processing materials, syrups, tonics, and tablets. And the entry of a metal definitely depends upon the nature of the food what we are taking, and also depends upon the age of the person. We prescribe tablets for aged persons. We prescribe syrups and tonics for kids and children, and at each stage we have a definite proportion of metals what to be taken and how much to be excreted. Right. This is a better point of view in metals entering into a body. But in some other cases, metals can enter into a body unknowingly from various activities. Many of the industries ranging from automobile industries to petrochemical industries, they excrete a lot of metals in the exhaust and atmosphere. Lead, arsenic, paint industry, they give out lead. Toys, lead is a major composition. Construction materials, asbestos, arsenic, tin, and from nuclear and thermal waste, a lot of metals can enter into a body. So means that metals can enter even by food and even by your atmospheric pollution. How come? Even the materials which are useful for packing of materials, your daily activities, your polythene covers, everything has some quantity of some insoluble metal which is attached to it, which can unknowingly enter into your body. Further, the major source of metal contamination in our body is through by water. The water we consume, drinking water, whether it is in river water or a well water or water from streams and rivers or subsoil water, which is called the borewell water. All these water which we consume have definitely some quantity of metal present in it. And apart from water, we have the food items, species containing seeds, nuts, and other beverages where a significant quantity of metal has been entering into our body unknowingly. Fine. Apart from the metal, how does the body takes up? There are 7 elements of life, which comprises of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. These elements contribute to almost 99% of the mass of the human body, and such that the remaining 1% is distributed among the metals, and among these metals, the essential metals like potassium, sodium, magnesium, and calcium play a major role. Now, the body composition can be analyzed in different ways based on the type of food we take and also the material. Water, which is a part of oxygen and hydrogen. Proteins, which comprises amino acids, contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur. Fats, lipids, and hydroxyapatite. in bones where calcium is present, carbohydrates, etc. So in terms of tissue, the body may be analyzed into water, fat, connective tissues, muscles and bones. And for the working and functioning of all these tissues, muscles, bones, definitely the role of metal is essential. So in general, in terms of cell type, the body contains hundreds of different types of cells, and each cell is controlled by some enzymes and enzymatic functions. And the enzymatic functions definitely involve metal in some form, which is useful in our body. When 99% of our mass of the body is made up of 6 elements, namely oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium and phosphorus, and remaining 0.85% is composed of another 5 metals, which comprises sodium, magnesium, potassium and non-metals like sulfur and chlorine. What is the much about the remaining 0.1% of the metals in our body? So what is the need for metals, which comprises only 0.15% of the weight, and how they are efficient in determining our health of the body and also on the proper metabolic activities? The most important thing of metals is metals in our body enable the healthy function of brain and organs. And metals are the elements that are required for several purposes ranging from our daily life, such as the formation of blood in our body, the strength of bones and the formation of bones, the teeth, which is essential part in our body, and other tissues. It not only helps in the managing the blood flow level, it also helps in the osmoregulation of body fluids. It controls many physiochemical processes starting from digestion to excretion and every other food material which is going inside taken care of by enzymes. Provided some of these metals are only required in very trace amounts and a very less quantity is needed in our daily intake. These metals are generally found in a typical diversified diet starting from vegetables, meat products, spinaches and other cereals, nuts. If a person is low in specific metals, the deficiency can create different types of problems. Namely, it can lead to disorders, and these disorders can grow into diseases. The excess metals also in our body caused by the supplementation can also cause health problems. One of the biggest example is the presence of excess of iron in our body, which can lead to death also. Now, this is a nutritional periodic table. The periodic table is the one which was created by Moseley, the modern periodic table based on the atomic number. Here we can classify the elements as into basic elements for life, the quantity elements which are to be quantified in particular quantity in our body, the need elements, that is the essential trace elements, and also other elements which are not clearly identified by the health organization, but they are required for some biochemical function in our body. As seen in our picture, the 4 basic elements are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. So apart from this, all these elements are needed in some quantities in our body. The quantity elements are the 4 elements from your alkali group and alkyl metal group comprising sodium, potassium, magnesium and calcium, and from P block element phosphorus and sulfur. The essential trace elements predominantly belong to the D block elements, which are metals like molybdenum, manganese, iron, cobalt, copper, zinc, selenium and iodine. Selenium and iodine come under P block. Among these, iron, cobalt, copper, zinc are very essential in enzymes, present in enzymes that are taking care of several processes starting from your oxidation, reduction, isomerization, transfer of electrons, regulation of electron carriers, oxygen carriers, etc. Right. When we see our metal composition, the important thing which our body should have is water. Almost 70% of the body weight is of water, and in water we have several metal ions which are required for the functioning of our metabolic activity. The main electrolytes in our body fluid comprises of all the metals from the S block elements. Sodium, magnesium, calcium, and potassium are present as chlorides. We very well know that when a person undergoes dehydration or suffers from an extensive diarrhea disorder, the doctor or any other person prescribes him to have an electrol, which is a supplement of your sodium potassium chlorides along with the magnesium. When a body loses a lot of water, most of the metal ions are taken away in the water and one gets dehydration, and ultimately a prolonged dehydration can also lead to death. So the role of electrolytes in our body is very important, where the metals play a major role. Apart from that, potassium and magnesium are very much involved in our body functioning in process of your nerve cells. Sodium intake and potassium intake regulates our nerves, and a person goes ARI, or a mental disorder occurs when the ratio of potassium and sodium ions differs from the normal one. So potassium, it is an element which is very useful in our body to build the body muscles and also control blood pressure. So sodium is in form of potassium chloride, which is taken in the form of salts or in food items like banana. Calcium is a plentiful element in the human body and is one of the metals which is found in excess compared to all other metals in our body. It is useful in most of the muscle contraction and also maintains the heartbeat regulation. We very much know that calcium is essential for the building up of bones, but also it is needed for our regulation of our heartbeat. Apart from this, we have copper, sodium, iron as one of the important metals which are also of great importance compared to other metals in our body. Iron, it is a vital element metal which produces energy in our body and also helps in the oxygen transportation in our body. It is also present in many of the food materials which we intake. Copper is an element which is mostly present in the food and also in the body conditions requiring enzymes like reductase, oxidase enzymes, where copper has an important role. Example, it is necessary for the collagen and is the most abundant protein in human. It is a major component of several connective tissues. Example, in ATP molecules requires copper to function. Without ATP, the energy cannot be gained in our body. And production of energy is most important thing where we have to survive. Like metals present in our body, we also have several conditions of how much level it should enter into our body. So the data provided gives the available limit of microgram per gram or milligram per gram of our body weight, which varies. The same amount of copper is not required for iron. So the varies, they depend upon the metabolic functions, also the intake, the excreta conditions. We will classify these elements as macro elements, micro elements, toxic elements. That is, the elements which in excess also constitute toxic apart from the elements which are generally toxic, or the heavy metals. Elements are the metals required for diagnosis of many diseases, and the metals required for treatment of the cancerous tissues for radionuclides, and elements as metals for therapeutics. In our country, where a diversified medication is also provided for the treatment of several disorders like allopathy, homeopathy, Siddha, Ayurveda, and several naturopathy techniques, definitely involves many metals in the form. In some form, it is being injected to the body. Further, metals play a major role in instrumentation techniques. So without metal, many of the instruments cannot be seen. An important example is MRI scan, magnetic resonance imaging scanning, where gadolinium is a metal which is the most important element within bodies. Like cardiac lasers for treatment of coronal rectification in eyes. Neodymium in aluminum garnet. Neodymium is an nitride, which is the most important in solid state. Now we will go on the classification of elements, how these elements are classified as macro or a micro or toxic, or elements for diagnosis, and elements as radionuclides. From the name it says macro elements. All the elements in the S block, calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, are definitely macro elements which are generally required for our body. Apart from this, chloride, sulfur and phosphorus are needed along with these metals for smoother functioning. We also have some micro elements or metals which comprises iron, copper, zinc, selenium, molybdenum, chromium, cobalt and manganese. They are present as the metalloenzyme in enzymatic conditions. Apart from this, we have fluorine and iodine. Well, the toxicity is based on the amount of metal present in our body and also the nature of the element. So we can say the toxicity never arises only from the nature of the element. It also depends upon the quantity which is to be taken in our body. In that case, the toxic elements are classified based on the presence and also the entry point. Lead, mercury, arsenic, chromium are the heavy metals generally we say, and they are one of the most toxic elements in our body. Apart from this, we have nickel, it traces of aluminum, thallium, barium, polonium, beryllium, cadmium and tin. These elements are collectively classified as toxic elements which will definitely impart some disorder in our body. And elements for diagnosis, most of the metals are used in this purpose. Almost 80 metals in our periodic table are used for diagnosis. And elements as radionuclides, most of the elements which give alpha rays, beta rays and gamma rays are generally radioactive elements. They are useful for treatment and diagnosis of cancerous tissues and several tumor disorders. Among this, americium-241 isotope is very important. Apart from this, we have cesium-137, iodine-129 and 131 treatment of cancer, thyroid, plutonium, radium, strontium-90, technetium-99, uranium, thorium and tritium. These are some of the elements which are useful as radionuclides. Among this, tritium is in non-metal. It's an isotope of hydrogen. Right. How the role of macro elements in our body is gaining momentum. Calcium is very much important in the growth of nerve cells in our body right from our early age to the old age. The structure of bone and teeth is determined by the presence of calcium in our body. Also, along with calcium, phosphorus is also more required for the structure and strength of bone and teeth. Further, it is required for ATP, the energy carrier in animals. Magnesium. Apart from calcium and phosphorus, magnesium is also important in the structural formation of bone, and the deficiency results in tetanus. So tetanus is a disease which is due to the low deformation of the bone, and the bone density becomes very less. It goes on at a older age, and it has been supplemented by magnesium tablets. And it also can lead to easily breaking of your bones. The bones become very tender at an older age. Sodium and potassium chlorides, these are the major electrolyte component of blood and extracellular fluid. Further, they are also required for maintaining the pH and osmotic balance. Imagine a person taking various type of fluids. He may take a coffee, he may take a juice, he can take a buttermilk, he can take an aerated drink, several drinks at the same day within 24 hours can definitely have a change in the pH, but the pH doesn't change as we expect. The pH of our blood and our body fluids are maintained at separate regular phenomena which are controlled by sodium and potassium chlorides. Sulfur, although it is a non-metal, is essential amino acids present in methionine and cysteine. It is also present in vitamins like thiamine and biotin of B1 and B7. It is also a part of glutathione. It is required for detoxification purpose, that is, for removal of any toxins present in our body. Further, a low level of this sulfur can also cause several disorders. Fine. When you talk about macroelements, what is the role of microelements? Among these, iron, copper, zinc plays a major role apart from your manganese. So what is the role of iron? It is present in hemoglobin and myoglobin, which are required for the oxygen transport in the body. So iron is present in 2 plus and is the carrier of oxygen from our blood from heart to other parts of the body. It also is stored in muscles. It is part of the cytochrome P450 family of enzymes, which has several important phenomena in our metabolic activity. The deficiency of iron is more predominant and prevalent, which causes anemia. And also the excess iron levels in our body can lead to liver inflammation, which is called the enlargement of the liver. And it also leads to diabetes, which is the most common disease in our country, probably the disorder in our country due to the unhealthy eating habits and practices of different lifestyle. Sometimes the excess of iron can also lead to a cardiac failure, which has been well reported by the explorers who have explored the southern pole. An explorer who have survived only by eating the liver of dogs, he failed to survive later because he had an excess storage of iron in his body, which has led to cardiac failure. The genetic diseases like hemochromatosis also result from excess iron absorption. The similar symptoms can be produced through excessive transfusions required for treatment of other diseases. So the supplement of iron in our body should be regulated. An excess of iron and also a less quantity of iron can cause several disorders. Copper. This is present in many enzymes like peroxidase, ceruloplasmins, which regulates the iron transport and facilitate the releases and storage of iron. So iron can be stored in our body, and copper can help in transportation and storage of these ions to various organs. A structural element in enzymes, tyrosinase and cytochrome C oxidase, ascorbic acid oxidase, amine oxidases, and the antioxidant enzyme copper zinc superoxide dismutase. So copper, the role of copper in our body is mostly devoted to enzymatic action. Well, copper deficiency can also result in anemia, but it is in regulation with your iron. It can be controlled. Excess copper levels is called liver malfunction, and they are associated with a genetic disorder called Wilson disease, which is a prevalent disease in many parts of the world. Right. So the role of iron and copper are definitely very important in our body, and how they are going to act as in enzyme action. Zinc. Apart from copper and iron, zinc is an useful metal right from the birth of a kid. Generally, we have seen many of the kids or the babies being administered Zincovit, a syrup, which is essential for the growth of the body. It's an important for reproductive function due to its use in follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. And zinc is required for DNA binding of zinc finger proteins, which regulate a variety of activities in our body. Also, it is a component of the enzyme alcohol dehydrogenase. So the consumption of alcohol in our body is oxidized into aldehyde, which is converted into acid. For this process to occur, zinc is present in the enzyme which helps in the function. Lactic dehydrogenase, carbonic anhydrase, ribonuclease, DNA polymerase, and other antioxidant copper zinc superoxide dismutase. So zinc is one of the important metal which is useful in the enzymatic action of many enzymes. Apart from this, manganese and iron also are important. The deficiency of iron causes goiter in our thyroid gland. it can lead to hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism. So the level of thyroxine is controlled by the presence of iodine in our body. Although it's not a metal, it is very important in the concept of your enzymatic action. Now, there are some metals like selenium, cobalt and molybdenum which have an important activity in some of the metabolic systems. Example, cobalt is present in vitamin B12, and B12 is one of the important vitamins in our body. An excess of cobalt can also lead to cardiac failure. Chromium, this is a cofactor in regulation of sugar levels in our body, and a chromium deficiency can cause hyperglycemia, that is, the blood sugar level increases exorbitantly, and glucosuria, glucose in urine. So the presence of sugar in urine and blood is controlled and activated by chromium. Molybdenum, it is present in the enzyme xanthine oxidase. It is required for the excretion of nitrogen in uric acids mostly in birds. An excess of this can also cause diarrhea and growth reduction, and this is the percentage of magnesium in our body which can cause a devastating effect on the urinary tract symptoms. So the persons who are finding a difficulty in urinary tract infection has an deficiency of molybdenum along with your iron and your copper. Selenium deficiency also leads to a heart disease. This is also known as Cushing's disease. From time, we know what is the heavy metals present in our body. This is the common terminology given by the accumulation of not needed metals in our body as heavy metals, and the presence of these metals leads to several disorders. On how the sources of heavy metal is affecting our body and what are the various causes. Mostly it comes from mining industries, pharmaceutical industries, fertilizer and pesticide industries provide a lot of heavy metals. Corrosion of many of the girders made up of steel, iron also leads to your accumulation of metals in our body. The industrial ash or smoke or exhaust given by several industries results in heavy metals pollution. Waste disposal in rivers, sand, soil, and also in the atmosphere leads to several metal pollution accumulation. The use of agricultural pesticides, herbicides also results in heavy metal pollution. So there are several causes of heavy metal pollution of body and how this is going to affect our body. Mostly the heavy metals are arsenic, lead, mercury, the most toxic ones along with cadmium, chromium, and how they affect our organs. Almost all the metals affect our liver, brain and kidneys. Liver is useful for digestion of our food and also the most important organ. Brain, all the sensory nerves which have been giving the signals from the brain to other parts of the body will be affected, and kidneys, which is called the flush tank of our body, will be also not working properly. So this data gives what are the organs which have been affected by the presence of such heavy metals. Example, if you take lead, it almost affects your bones, liver, kidneys, brain, lungs and spleen. Whatever you have the organs, everything is being affected. So we'll also go on for the conditions, how this exposure lead particularly influences your body conditions. In children, it causes a serious nerves damage, and it also leads to memory loss, behavior problems, erratic behavior of kids, hearing loss and also learning disabilities. In blood, it causes anemia and causes severe damage to kidneys, and the decreased bone and muscle growth will cause a deformation of the body parts. So in children it affects a lot, but in adults it has a lot of same thing, but it has a severe attack on your memory loss, lack of concentration, irreparable headaches, irritability and depression. It also leads to several blood pressure problems leading to cardiovascular diseases. Abnormal function of kidneys and damage results in your create a loss in your urinary tract and also our excretion system. Your digestion system is also influenced by the presence of lead in our body. It leads to constipation, nausea, and poor appetite. Finally, it gives always a tiredness in our body, fatigue, muscle pain in joints, and also causes a lot of numbness in our body. So lead is considered one of the most important element which is very toxic in our body. Apart from this, mercury also produces several damages which cannot be repaired. So mercury we know is the most highly dense element. The specific gravity is very high. When it enters into the body, it almost tears apart our smaller parts of the intestine, muscle tissues, everything. An excess of mercury in our body will cause a lot of problems resulting in migraines and memory loss. The headaches will be uncontrollable. It leads to vertigo, depression, and chronic fatigue. It also leads to congestion in our heart, chest pain, anemia, also irregular heartbeat with palpitations. The intestinal tract like foot pipe and also the asthma, bronchitis and chest congestion leads to shortness of breath. It also results in infertility. Mostly your tumors and movement of your hand and body are almost retarded. The excess of mercury enters into our body. It also leads to cramping, joint pains and muscle aches, stiffness of the muscles. So lead and mercury have a larger role on the toxicity, and there are several ways we can remove our toxic metals in our body. Example, water. Water is one of the important aspect of our life which can cure many of our diseases. Example, a regular intake of water after waking up, before food, after food, like that controls many of the disorders like blood pressure, sugar problem and also your heartbeats. Drinking enough water is a major thing a person should do in the removal of one of the metals in our body. And also we should supplement our food with probiotic curds, yogurt and cucumbers. Apart from this, we should have polyphenols like green tea, dark chocolates and also cloves. We should also consume rich foods containing sulfur and also antioxidants. The leafy vegetables and green vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage have very good antioxidant properties which are essential in removal of the toxic metals present in our body. Further, consumption of milk is also very important in removal of the. Apart from this, we have some of the essential food items which can remove specific poisoning. Example, cilantro, that herb can remove effectively the heavy metals like aluminum, mercury and lead in our body. Similarly, some of the foods like Brazilian nuts, it may result in the removal of selenium and excess of zinc in our body. And the presence of onion and garlic is very important in our body which can eliminate the heavy metals. A must consumption in our life is onion and garlic, which can result in a lot of irregular metabolic behavior can be set right by many of the toxic metals being removed from our body. Cholera. This is a supplement of chelating agent. It can bind to the toxic metal and can remove the metal from our body. So, some of the food habits what we have seen can also result in the detoxification effect which can lead to a healthy life. Most of the toxic metals which enter into our body are through two routes, one from water bodies, another from your soil. So groundwater discharge, your water from different parts of our places, rivers, streams, etc. can carry a lot of elements, metals as sediments, and these deposits are mixed with water. We do not know what will be the nature of the water when you are drinking. only we see the physical parameters: color, smell, taste, and appearance. Apart from this, we cannot clearly visualize whether the water has a contamination of this metal or one particular metal in it. So there are many techniques, radionuclide techniques, which can determine the nature of the water or the sedimentation rates and the soil and other parameters regarding your metal toxicity in water. So some of the elements or metals are of lead 230, cesium 137, beryllium 7, thorium 234, radium 236, radium 228, and other isotopes of radium, which can be used to study the groundwater discharge rates, diffusion in the sediment water interface, air sea gas exchange, and what will be the submarine groundwater discharge rates, and the geochronology and water air gas exchange, sedimentation rates, mixing of the sediment with the water. So these are some of the metals which are very useful in determining the amount of toxicity present in water. Apart from this, some of the elements are used in the drugs and diagnostic agents. They are used in a variety of applications like antibacterial, antimicrobial, anti-arthritic, antiviral, antacids, sedatives, antibiotics, treatment of diseases, diagnosis, MRI agents, photodynamic therapy, and radiopharmaceuticals, vasodilators, several anti-cancer agents like that. In this context, some of the elements are also will present as complexes, as salts, which are useful for your treatment of diseases. Like example, silver in the form of silver sulfadiazine is an antibacterial agent, is useful for many of the cut wounds. Aluminum hydroxide is a very good antacid for digestion purposes. Salvarsan, melarson, trypsamide, they are useful for antimicrobial agents where arsenic is present. For anti-tumor activities, rheumatoid arthritis, etc., gold ornithine is an important tablet which has been taken for many years for the aged peoples. So gold is present in these tablets. Barium, as barium sulfate, is used as an X-ray contracting agent, which is the most important discovery of the century for the diagnosis of broken bones and other holes in our bones. Bismuth, present as bismuth subsalicylate and colloidal bismuth, is used in antacid and anti-ulcer agents. The citrates of bismuth and ranitidine bismuth citrates are also used in the anti-ulcer agents. Sodium bromide is a very good sedative. Chromium complexes are used as anti-diabetic, and copper histamine complex is useful for treatment of Menkes disease. Apart from this, we have like iron, gadolinium, cobalt, mercury. Everything acts as a perfect way of diagnosing disease. Example, it acts as a supplement, a vasodilator, microbial agent, photodynamic therapy, antiseptic, and radiopharmaceuticals. Most of the metals not only act as an diagnostic agents, also as potent drugs, and there is no replacement of these drugs so far in our country and also the whole world. So far we have seen the role of metals as supplements, as drugs, and also useful for diagnostic purposes. We'll just now look what is the exact concentration of metals in human organs and how these metals are helpful in various other activities in metabolic conditions. The 6 most important metals which are present in our human organs can create several functions where the other metals could not do. Manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, and zinc are the 6 essential or most important metals which are present in our liver, kidney, lung, brain, and muscles. And the varying proportion of these metals provides a data such that all the metals should be present in our body to a considerable extent, and the role of these metals helps in metalloenzyme activities. So what are metalloenzymes? They are enzyme proteins containing 1 or 2 metals which are directly bound to the protein and to the enzyme bound non-protein component, which is called the prosthetic groups. And most of the enzymes in our body are metalloenzymes. Enzymes is basically an organic compound made up of amino acids which are essential for some of activities in our body, for oxidation, for reduction, for transferring electrons, for removal of your carboxypeptidase, removal of carboxylic acid, removal of amino group from a amino acid, aminopeptidase, etc. Several enzymes are needed for our metabolic functions, and also all these enzymes are specific in action. Enzymes that depend on metal ions as cofactors fall into two categories. One is the metal activated enzymes, now the other is the metalloenzymes. The metal activated enzymes have a greater catalytic activity, and the surface area is such that the presence of one or two metal atoms in the monovalent state or the divalent state exceeded to the protein can do a lot of metabolic functions. It can catalyze the reaction, the use of metals, and metals can promote binding of the enzyme with the substrate, forming an enzyme substrate complex, and it can act as a bridge to increase the binding affinity. It can also orient them correctly to the reactions in many of the conditions. Compared to all the metals, iron, copper, and zinc take parts in many of the metal ion catalysts, which are useful in several processes in our body, in our daily life. The major role of these metals are the following enzymes. Magnesium is important in the case of glucose 6-phosphatase, hexokinase, DNA polymerase, and poly-A polymerase. Iron in the following enzymes has its important role: catalase, hydrogenase, IREBP, and achotinase. Copper in cytochrome oxidase, lactase, nitrous oxide reductase, and nitrate reductase. Zinc, among these all the metals, zinc has a major role in alcohol dehydrogenase, carboxypeptidase, aminopeptidase, and beta amyloid. Nickel, it is present in the enzyme urease, also hydrogenase, methyl coenzyme M reductase. So some of these enzymes activities are regular in our body, which is very important and essential for all the metabolic functions. Apart from these metals, there are some metals which are useful in other enzymes, which will not be discussed here, since the role of metals to the maximum extent comprises of all these 5 elements. Well, a knowledge on metal in our body and how metals influence our life and metabolic process is provided to you at a basic level. There are several books related with your toxicity of metals, metals for human life, and origin of metals in our body. Some of the books provides necessary information and most detailed information about the process. Later, a book in biochemistry provides a lot of meaning about the importance of metals.
As all good things come to an end in life, as this webinar, no duty is more than important than that of returning thanks. On behalf of Department of Microbiology, I am here to express my vote of thanks. First and foremost, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to our management and our beloved principal ma'am for this enthusiastic support. And my heartfelt thanks to today's presenter, a resource person, Dr. R. Kumaran, Assistant Professor from DG Vaishnava College. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence and your knowledge. And a special thanks to our technical committee members and organizing committee members. Finally, I would like to thank you all wholeheartedly for your active participation. With this kind note and warm message, we would like to end this session here. Thank you once again.